kids from me, then they post my bank account. I got so much anger in me, I got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in the matrix, where the nitrix? I like when people on mob. The shit that I'm posting on Twitter, they telling me you don't say that. How can't see me in public, I'm driven an all-grown Maybach.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Hope we're all doing well. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, middle of the week, and we have some fun, wacky new products from the Bomb Factory, also known as IWI, in the form of a pager mounted directly to your rifle, Cloud Defensive. Maybe they're actually shipping something. Leopold, putting reticles in their optics. Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. My mic sucks. It's bad. Voice. Oh no, is the voice changer on? No. No. Gosh dang it. Awkward. Yeah, no, I didn't know. I was messing around. A little bit of scuff to start the stream. Late end scuff stream, 10 out of 10. Oops, boomer moment. Well, hey, we have a great boomer update. Worry ye not. But before we get to that, Richard, how's your night going, man?
It's going even better now.
Robo trip, clip it. Yeah. You got the chat going. Yes, yeah. I should just start with a random voice changer every time.
It was not on when you started. Like when
you're because
like, hey,
we talked for like 5 seconds. So
yeah,
I must have.
On.
I wonder if there's probably a hotkey or something I accidentally pressed.
I thought it was intentional, which makes it that much funnier for me.
John sounded like he was about to drop the illest AI gun tube track. Yeah. A little, listen, I've only been streaming 3 times a week for like a year or something. Eventually I'll figure out how to do it right one of these days. Probably not today. 2 years. Well, not 3 times a week though. I used to only stream once a week. Yeah, that's right. I turned 30. Straight up a boomer. Speaking of boomer drinks, I've never tried these C4s before. I've had them like once or twice, but Strawberry Blast.
Pretty good. Speaking of Zoomer drinks, I tried White Monster for the first time today.
For the first time?
I'm not a Monster drinker.
I always forget you're black.
Yeah, well, if I am having an energy drink, it's most likely going to be just plain Red Bull, the little 8-ounce can.
Ugh, disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, be sketch. That C4 is good.
I tried the White Monster because I found them at my local gas station, 3 for $7.
That's pretty good.
So I said, all right, I'll try them. And it was all right.
It wasn't life-changing?
Wasn't life-changing. It was all right.
I must not be interacting with your Agarthan genes. You know, I think there's just something missing there if it's not hitting the spot for you.
For it being 0 sugar, 0 calorie, nothing in it, it is good. Most of the other ones that have nothing in it are garbage.
I had a strawberry starburst like 2 days ago, Polly. So they are around still. And I have a Jolly Rancher in my fridge right now. So yeah. Looking forward to it because I haven't tried all the flavors yet. You know, most of the other energy drinks I've tried all the flavors, but C4, pretty good. Pretty good.
Some of the Red Bull limited edition flavors are pretty good.
I've tried the Red Bull flavors a couple times and they just never hit the same for me, and I hate small cans. Like I want to, like, it's not just about the caffeine content. Like I like drinking it because, you know, let's be honest, drinking a nice fruity drink, you know, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It gets the job done, you know. Makes me feel good. All right. So if I can take a bigger can, I'll take a bigger can.
I always
talking about big cans though, this I saw somebody posted this in the Discord, and this is our favorite character. Buchanan County Republican Central Committee voted to remove member Sean Harper. Harper. That man sounds pretty familiar, right? I mean, if you've been following the show the last couple weeks, Sean Harper might be a something that might trip a few alarm bells, right? You might get some PTSD shock from this guy who stole your mom's gun in Atlanta, or robbed a hooker who happened to be your mom in Atlanta, something like that. And this is a different side to Mr. Sean Harper, because Sean Harper, as he's better known, Double Ot Sean, is quite an eccentric character on YouTube. However, him in a suit and tie talking normally is a sight to behold.
Buchanan County Republican Central Committee voted to remove one of its members. The committee helps do fundraising for candidates and vet candidates as well. The vice chairwoman put up the vote to remove Sean Harper, seen right there. She believes he should not be a part of the committee because he did fundraising on behalf of the committee.
Could you imagine being on part of a committee and Double Ot Sean is your opposition? He's just yelling at you, homophobic, bigot, melonhead, racist. I'm gonna kill you and your family, all right? Him sitting across the table. Double Ot Sean wearing normal clothes and interacting with people in a professional setting. It's like, that's two things I didn't think would actually happen.
For whatever reason, when you do the your mic clips and it just completely cuts out.
Well, it's because it has like voice cut things. So like if I rack a gun slide, it won't actually put that through because it doesn't think that it's like a human voice. So it's the auto cutoff on the, what is it, soundboard or whatever I'm using. VoiceBot, that's the one.
He should not be a part of the committee because he did fundraising on behalf of the committee without its permission. He also, according to her, is disrespectful to members of the committee, and his social media presence is not a good representation of the committee. Harper's.
This is only 2 years old. His social media presence is not a good reflection of the committee. Now, I like how in whatever district this is this a Perkins? Dude, Perkins. That used to be like the breakfast spot in college. Everybody would just go to Perkins and hang out at a table like this.
He seems more like a Denny's pan than a Perkins.
Yeah, well,
pan.
I was thinking it was Denny's at first, but no, it's Perkins. Social media presence, yeah.
The committee, and his social media presence is not a good representation of the committee. Harper says he was removed because he feels the committee should move away from supporting former President Donald Trump.
Mostly because of his interaction or lack thereof with cooperation and treatment.
Are they doing the interview still in the same Perkins?
Yes.
Right after they vote to kick Sean out, they're like, okay, let's sit down and do the post kicking out of Sean interview. Now, this was probably the break. I mean, look back 2 years ago. This was released
This is
January
when he
16th,
snapped.
2023, almost 3 years ago. So this might actually be the breaking point when he got kicked out of the Buchanan County Republican Central Committee.
So I thought that
Possible.
you guys were aware of this. I was not. I did not realize you were aware of this man's past history. If the chat wanted to, I mean, his name is there. You could search criminal records and find his arrest history and all of that.
A Double Out Sean getting arrested for being
Oh,
violent?
man.
No way. That's not possible. Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah, I thought this was well known that he was unhinged at least for the past 2 years, and this was what set it off as far as his shift dramatically left.
Mm-hmm.
He
Well,
feels
I
like
mean,
the Republicans
he
stabbed him
probably
in the back.
right, and he blames it on Donald Trump and people like us, which is quite
Yeah.
funny.
And of other members. He's been unfortunately rude and obnoxious and condescending toward other members, especially the women in our group.
I think I've very genuinely and sincerely exposed the Trumpian troll cartel in this part of the country. My anti-Trump republicanism is definitely the contributing factor. They are nasty little trolls.
He's going off about trolls 3 years ago, and he's only gotten more 21 to buy a gun. He's only gotten more severe in his anti-Trump, anti-troll rhetoric. So he's got one line, and he's just been sticking to it for 3 years. Damn.
Well, I don't think he's a
quite
Republican
funny.
anymore.
It is, well, probably not, but it is quite funny how he goes off against these sexist, racist, homophobic people, and then he's actually like the guy who is sexist, which is based misogyny, based sexism. But
I
it's,
suppose
you know,
it's projection
he's
in him.
complaining against it. Yeah, 100%.
Which makes me wonder about the other.
Yeah, he might be projecting a few other things out there into the world. You know, the pedophilia and the molestation and the other things.
Check his hard drive.
Check his hard drive, please.
The motion passes. Mr. Harper, I'm sorry, but you've been removed from our committee.
But no apology necessary. Thank you anyway.
Now, Gryer also added members of the committee support other possible presidential.
Well, he didn't blow up there. Good on him for keeping his composure and just kind of like, all right, it is what it is. I lost. I couldn't convince my way out of it, and I'll move on. Now, of course, he mentally broke a little bit later on, but at least for the moment, he was cogent.
I was hoping for
I will not stop screaming and telling you midnight logic.
Yeah. I wanted more of a crash out.
Candidates
It's a Perkins.
besides
It's a
former
Perkins
President
ranking.
Trump.
I'll proceed.
Everyone voted to remove Harper except for one member who chose not to vote.
So one
Ouch.
abstination and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 10 out of 11 voted against him. I think it was probably a 12-member panel, right? Probably makes sense. I just thought that was funny. What a light way to start the stream out. Going over some old history with Sean's fall from grace and his descent into terrible madness. Now,
yeah, he's
Sorry,
a
go ahead.
wacky fella.
yeah, very, very wacky. Also wacky. We've talked about Cloud Defensive for a year, off and on. It's been
Yeah.
a long time, at least 6 months. We've been talking about Cloud Defensive and their lack of product shipment. We've talked about their personnel issues, them having people leave, having people fired, losing their main engineers and whatnot. However, allegedly, finally, possibly, maybe, not yet, but soon, their lights are in production and shipping, according to us, fingers crossed. And I simply won't believe them until the people who have been waiting years for their lights actually have them in their hands and they work as intended. So today is a major moment for Cloud Defensive. For 4 years, we've pushed through setbacks, delays, redesigns, failures, pain, and more hours of engineering and testing than I can count. And today I'm proud to tell you the EPL is shipping. Kind of shipping. If you pre-ordered, which remember they've been accepting pre-orders for these for over a year, maybe 2 years. It's been quite a long time. If you pre-ordered your light, If you've pre-ordered, your light is entering the build line right now, but be watching your email for tracking information on the most well-balanced and dominant pistol-mounted light ever created. We are building them and shipping them daily now. So, allegedly, do we have any EPS, EPL pre-order guys in the chat? All right. Any of you guys out there actually pre-order one of these? You guys been waiting? All right. It's only how to, yeah, it was the best on the market 4 years ago. Now not so much. We made you a promise. You trusted us. And today, at a later point in time, we deliver on that promise. Well, Ray Guitard has one. So did it ship yet or no? This is only the beginning, and we want to share this experience with you. Please don't hesitate to give us feedback and tag us in your posts with the EPL. We are every bit as excited to ship these to you as you are to receive them, and our customer service team is standing by to answer questions if you have them. Thank you for standing with us. We won't forget it. Sincerely, Sean McCauley, Matt Tenenberg, and the entire Cloud Defensive team. So theoretically, these things are finally on the way. And honestly, if they do get everybody their lights that pre-ordered, if everybody finally gets them and they actually work as intended, good on them for actually making it through a very, very rough period where they made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of promises, they couldn't handle it. And yeah, hopefully going forward, they just fulfill orders and don't be a joke of a light company. Right. Not to mention some of the other scummy things that they've done in the past as well when it comes to personnel design changes and whatnot, taking people's money years in advance for a product you know you can't make. I would call that a little bit underhanded, but hopefully going forward, I am happy to see better products coming to the market. I am happy to see a good value products in the market. So this isn't a bad thing for me. I am a diehard TLR1 enjoyer, and I don't think you need more of a pistol light than that from 99% of people, unless you are, trying to defeat opposing light at 100 yards. But for some people, they just, they need that spec sheet on paper to look nice and crispy. Did you hear that? It sounds like somebody dropped a pan in my kitchen. Probably just the kids getting into things. The EPL has some noticeable lag if you hold it for momentary. Be warned, it takes a bit to get used to. Oh, that's great. That's just what I wanted to hear from my very expensive pistol light that I've been waiting months or possibly years for. That's exactly what I want to see from a, what do they cost? $269, $369? They're not cheap either.
That's retarded.
Yeah. Kids in the knife drawer, no matter. I wouldn't worry about it. Probably not a big deal. I'm sure they'll be fine.
We gotta teach them to throw them.
Dude, there's one knife that's like the really nice, like sharp knife, and that's the one that my kid always reaches for. He's like, I want that one. It's like, no, stop. The Light Spore for 5 says, for a multitude of reasons, need prayer, boys. I'll catch the VOD tomorrow. Well, hey, you have a good night, and we will be praying for you, the Light Spore. Appreciate that, man. Hope you have a good night and a good time catching up tomorrow on this when you can. Subartic Psycho for 5 says, John should make a playlist of his intro and outro songs for his audience to enjoy, or else maybe I'll need some prayer as well. I know, I really need to do that. Maybe for Christmas. How about that? Mr. Hates Nige Hers for 2 says, late and gay. We were a little late, but I mean, I think it worked out in the end. Amorite Boy for 2 says, late and gay like a Turkish spa. I wouldn't know. Too many cockroaches for my taste, all right? Too many cockroaches. Polly B for 5. So apparently the entire GDP is just AI and data farms. You could say it's an AI rendering of a Pokemon village, faker and gayer than I even thought. Did he mean to say Pokemon or Potemkin village?
Potemkin.
Oh, is that Indian picture that's going viral because black people think that they were Native Americans or something like that? Is that the one? Very funny if true. But yeah, most AI, the AI bubble is just AI companies handing money back and forth, like NVIDIA giving money to AMD, giving money to Intel, giving money to OpenAI, and they're all just transferring hundreds of millions of dollars on paper, hundreds of billions of dollars on paper between each other. And they're like, look how much money AI is generating. It's not
Yeah.
actually generating anything. And then Peter Thiel, he brought out all of his AI stock and then 70% of his Nvidia stock, or vice versa. So he dropped a lot, pulled a lot out of the market.
I mean, some of the AI is generating money because you're getting people who are paying like 20 to 40 bucks a month just to talk to fucking Chat GPT.
Yeah, but in terms of like what value it's actually creating, it's like, oh well, look at all these AI chipsets to drive our AI language models. And then it's like the AI companies buying the boards and then just vice versa, handing money back and forth, pretending that it's like market stimulation when it's just it's fake money being moved around. That's all it is. Nate Teller for 2 says Gate and Lay proving YouTubers are worse than Nappas. Probably true. You know, during ancient Roman and Greece, the entertainers were treated like prostitutes. So honestly, we're probably the lowest class of human.
Time is a white man's construct, I'll have you know.
That too, yeah. You would say that, white boy. Emerai Boy for 2 says Jolly Rancher C4s are goated. Well, good. I'm excited to try one tomorrow. Thank you, Emerai Boy. Hilter Lover. Oh, I hope Hilter's a very nice young person, whoever he happens to be, or she. Hilter could be a girl's name. Hilter Lover 1488 for 2 says, we would never be racist, Mr. Double Out Sean. How dare he? Yeah. Very, very rude of him. Very mean man. Everyday American 556 for 5 says, if you have the ability to vote and you choose not to, you are a coward. Looking at you, Congress. Richard, did you see the only guy who abstained from voting to release the Epstein files?
I did not.
Yeah, he there's a funny interview of him trying to decide which one he loves more, Israel or America, and he can't decide between the two because he says it's like picking between your wife and your daughter, and I'll let you decide which one is which in that scenario. But yeah,
was it Lindsey Graham?
No, it wasn't. I've never heard of this guy before, but yeah, the only holdout on the Epstein files from Congress.
Oh, I just figured because Lindsey Graham doesn't have a wife or a daughter.
Well, he's gay, but I mean, they're all a little gay. Everyday American for 5 says, on paper, it's sick. I like the switches as opposed to the X300. Streamlight has them, but Streamlights are just ugly. Yeah, when you guys start talking about, oh, I can't put this light on my gun, it's too ugly, it doesn't match the aesthetics of my FAL. It's like, well, you know, there are other problems you have to be worried about, sir. Your OCD doesn't belong here.
It's just that some of them, the switches are hard to actuate with my.
Yeah, I like the TLR1 switches. The TLR1 switches, they work great in night matches. I never have a problem finding them or getting them to work. It's simple, it's intuitive. I keep screaming, says I desire my shooting AI cover of the Airborne Hymn. I need to get that up. Everyday American for 5 says, we was Inuits and shit. Yeah, it's like every person was actually just black. White people were made in the 1800s by Yakub, and then we conquered the world and rewrote all the history books. Kind of based, honestly. Zanico for 2 says, where's Jake? I miss him. Well, I'm pretty sure he's in the chat right now, and his toes are curled up just thinking about you. All right. Well, speaking of companies doing wacky things, so, you know, Leopold, known for some of the really good scopes of all time, for sure, some of the most wacky scopes of all time as well, with their Prism optics, with the Devo, with a bunch of the other weird stuff that they've made throughout the years and then discontinued because it's Leopold. Well, they made a really, really expensive spotting scope the other day. So this is on today's episodes of things that would only happen to Sean. I send my Mark V HD in for warranty after suspected erector issues. Anybody in the chat have suspected erector issues? I'm thinking a few of you. A few of you out there might have a suspected erector issue, okay? Won't retain 0, drops 0.1 to 0.4 mils every shot until you hit the floor. That's quite a funny feature. Wait 6 weeks for it to come back. Thought they would honestly send a new one. They send mine back, and the first thing I notice is I seem to be missing something. I wonder what it is. Called Leopold. They said to send it back in. We'll update in another 6 weeks. So can anyone tell me what seems to be missing from this image here? Something isn't exactly there. Richard, can you spot the difference?
I can't see it because it's missing.
It's literally not there. This is they actually took his Mark V HD. They took his Mark V HD and just converted it into a spotting scope. They're like, congratulations, bro. We fixed the turret issues. The turrets will no longer lose 0. The erectors are gonna hold up just fine, bro. Trust us. Yeah, dude, that is the Chicago reticle. That's a good one, Noob Procrastinator. The Chicago reticle. Yeah, very interesting. This is that moment in Star Wars where Ben is like, turn off the targeting computer, use the Force. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes at that point. Yar, I'm a pirate with me Leopold spyglass. Yar. Yar, matey. It actually does look like that.
Yes, it does.
You know, just a little. Okay, now which one did he get? Let me see. What does a Mark V HD go for right now? Like 2.5K?
I think $2,800. So yeah, right about there.
Yeah, let me see. Well, MSRP is that's the
on
5
sale
to,
right now.
That's the 5 to 25, right? 2,000. Actually, that's not actually terrible. 2,500. 1,900 for the 3 to 18, 3.6 to 18. That's not terrible.
And it'll probably be even cheaper next week, but
Well, yeah. The 2 to 10s, depending on the reticle. The reticle actually changes the price $500 depending on which reticle you go with. That's wild.
yeah.
So I'm sure you can find some of these street price for under 2K. But still, dog, all right, spending 2K for a spyglass, essentially, not worth it to me. You know, I tend to enjoy my optics with reticles most of the time. Most of the time, I do prefer having a reticle. Yeah, and the illumination is also 200 on top.
So
$1,900
$500
for the
for the reticle, $200 for the illumination. I wonder if they sent him a $700 rebate back in the box for not including the illumination.
Well,
in the
yeah. It's like it's a tiered system, so it's like you get the scope body, that's $1,000. The turrets are $500. Parallax is $200. Illumination is $300, and then the reticle, that's $500. Right. So if you want the full whiz bang, right? So you can, it's in tiered
Loophole
models.
made the modular scope.
Yeah. No reticle, $500 discount. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Horus or ACSS or any of these guys that they have to license the scope design from, for sure. They got to take a cut in there. I wouldn't say Leopold is trash. I would never go that far. But I mean, they've been one of those companies that have been resting on their laurels, so to speak, right? They've been lazy. They've allowed things to get crappy. They've allowed things to stagnate in the market. Just like Glock, which we're just about to talk about in just a moment. Because Glock is a very silly company.
I think it's more the company, not the people. Or the company, not the product. Right? The people, not the product, is what I meant to say originally.
Well, I wouldn't even say the people necessarily. I say the management. Usually, it's usually just the management, right? I'm not saying Jimmy and their shipping department's a bad dude, but the management's a little stagnant. I mean, he might be a bad dude for all we know. It did take him 6 weeks to get this scope out, so
and he didn't look through it before he shipped it out.
Well, yeah, their QC guy. I got a couple questions for you. One, actually, their QC guy was actually a DEI hire. He's blind and deaf, doing their QC. He actually also does the QC for Palmetto State Armory. Very, very busy man, very hardworking man. And I'm just, happy that the gun industry has been so accepting of people with disabilities,
Not to be real, but I was at Walmart today and they had a DEI hire. It was a guy with no waist and nothing below it. He was riding around on a skateboard, stocking the bottom shelves. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen at Walmart in my life.
It's like he can only take out certain carts that have certain products that are on the bottom shelf. It's like, listen, bro, you go for it. All right. Good for you, dude. You're living your best life.
He was moving faster than anybody else there because he was on wheels. It was wild to see.
We call that Meals on Wheels for cannibals.
100%.
Well, this is I don't know how to get into this next one. Can you get me that thing off the top shelf? You say that he's going to take out a grappling hook throw it up there, and because he only has arms, his arms are ridiculously strong, and he doesn't have the dead weight of his legs, and he's just gonna arm over arm all the way up to the top shelf and throw it down to you.
I was just gonna pick him up and
Yeah,
like,
you
hold him
pick
up.
him up to reach further. You're like, hey, thanks, buddy. Things that I don't want to know how it actually works and how it is actually like to live that way. But good for you, dude. I'm glad you keep going on. Know how to get into this one. Dad who caught 15-year-old daughter with THC threatens to kill the guy who gave it to her in stage gas station deal, police say. So this guy found his daughter with THC, just weed, drugs, whatever it might have been, right? Asked her how she got it. She said who she was getting it from. So some drug dealer was peddling, drugs to children, as they do, these kind, upstanding gentlemen. And he threatens to kill the guy, which I think that's justified for the most part, right? If you continue to interact with my daughter, I will kill you. I think that's fine in a just society. A Florida father, of course, it's in Florida, right?
I'm just about to say, I think I recognize that gas station.
Yeah. A Florida father allegedly confronted a man who sold his 15-year-old daughter a THC vape cartridge, wielding a handgun and staging a fake meetup of his own so he could give the dealer a piece of his mind and threaten him, cops say. Alan Olson, is 40, is facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after the alleged THC dealer reported being in fear for his life. Yes, protect the drug dealer from the father who's upset that he was interacting with his daughter. Yes, protect that poor, afraid for his life drug dealer. When Olson met up with him at the Circle K gas station in Volusia County, he threatened to kill him. According to an arrest affidavit, the incident happened on Sunday, November 16th. The alleged dealer was so scared and anxious, maybe he was on too much of his own supply, about being confronted by Olson that he failed to notice he had a red light. Sure. Let me see the toxicology report on this man. After fleeing the Circle K in his vehicle, which caused him to collide with an uninvolved motorist, police say. Allen called out to him to come over to him and taunted him about the crash. The affidavit says noting that Olson's hands were positioned at his sides when he taunted him. The alleged dealer told cops he believed Olson was still armed. He then yelled out to Allen that he called the police and then concealed himself, the affidavit recounts. So the drug dealer is hiding in the middle of his little crash because he tried to get away from the father who was yelling at him, rightfully so, I would say. And the other motorist just happens to be an innocent bystander, unfortunately involved. According to police, Olson had arrived home from visiting family out of town that afternoon with his daughter, and she began to act weird and funny. The teen asked for money to purchase ice from the Circle K and then walked to the gas station, the affidavit says. So gave his daughter money to go buy ice or whatever it is, and then obviously it's a meetup for something else. Olson told the cops that when his daughter returned home, she was still acting very weird and funny, and he questioned her about what was going on. At that time, they learned that she had lied to him and had purchased a THC cartridge, the affidavit alleges. Allen then took the daughter's cell phone to review the contents. He then observed her conversation with the alleged dealer. Now, cybersecurity for children, don't let them have a cell phone. I mean, unless they need it for like a specific thing, right? But like having them be able to text at 15 years old, being able to text dealers like when they're meeting up, what they're getting, stuff like that. This is just strangers online having access to your children should be completely avoided or minimized as much as possible. Go ahead,
The
Richard.
dealer was also another teenager under the age of 18.
Oh, so is somebody at the high school, basically?
Yes. That's why he's going to end up getting in trouble, is because he threatened a child with a gun who then
a child. Okay, is the guy 17 years old, 11 months and 39 days or something?
That's what they're going to charge him with, as intimidation of a child. It's basically because if it wasn't a child, that they would have said who the guy was. Like they would have listed his name. But in the state of Florida, they have to protect.
Allen allegedly proceeded to text the man from his own cell phone, smart move, soliciting him to purchase a THC cartridge. The two of them agreed to meet at the same Circle K, with Olson driving there in his Chevy Colorado truck to confront the individual. The alleged dealer noticed a silver pickup truck arrive and park suspiciously behind him, the affidavit says, alleging the victim exited his vehicle, and walked over to Olson's truck. Upon approaching the driver's door, the driver, later identified as Alan Olson, acknowledged he was there to purchase a THC cartridge. The affidavit explains. Alan then began questioning the alleged dealer if he knew his daughter. The alleged dealer stated that he did, at which point he noticed Alan was holding a silver and black semi-automatic handgun, possibly a Glock 9mm in his hand, upon his lap. Olson allegedly demanded the man drive home with Olson behind him to speak with his parents, while threatening to kill him if he didn't, according to the police. The alleged dealer immediately retreated back to his vehicle and was in fear for his life before fleeing the Circle K and getting into the wreck. So this is just a he said situation. There's no recording of any, like, oh, he threatened to kill me. The kid just could be lying about that completely. Because it sounds like that man... So Olson allegedly demanded that the man drive home with Olson behind him to speak with his parents. So he said, hey, where are your parents? I'm going to go talk to your parents and you're coming with me, basically. That doesn't sound like a threat to kill you. That sounds like he's like, you and me are going to go have a conversation with your parents. That's actually pretty reasonable. If the guy was a kid, 16, 17, 18, whatever he might be.
Well, demanded to have a conversation with his parents while threatening to kill him if he didn't.
Right, but the wall threatening to kill him if he didn't, we don't know if that's true or not at all.
Yeah. I like the way that they phrase that. It's like, we're going to go talk to mommy and daddy, or I'm going to bring you up by your toes.
The alleged dealer, he was allowed to leave. He just got into his car, ran away, and crashed.
Right.
Right. And Olson didn't ever point the gun at him, didn't ever do anything like that. He just yelled at him while he was crashed in the middle of the road, I guess.
I will go out on a limb here and bet that the father probably had a good tip that the parents of the kid were the ones who was supplying him with it. That's why he wanted to talk to the parents.
Right. Well,
it's either they know and they're complicit, or they don't know and they need
the other parents should be in a lot of trouble for their child, their son, distributing drugs at their high school. All right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying that it's the usual suspects, but I'm saying it. The odds are what they are. All right. Now in Florida, THC weed is still legal, right? Like 100%.
It's legal there.
Oh, it is legal there. Okay.
Yeah, it's
obviously not for minors.
No, not for minors. It is medicinal there. So the person would have to have a medical card, but the dispensaries are everywhere.
A barber who it's like, then you would not be going to go to a barber. What's that? I understand the anger was there, but it's not how you do business. It's not how you get yourself in more trouble. Anyways, a barber who witnessed the confrontation, a barber, you say, and its aftermath, told WESH, damn, I can't talk. When the cops came in, they came in from everywhere. We could see it from the windows. Somebody done messed up. Barber, you say? Olson is facing a felony charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I don't know where you get aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, considering, according to these allegations, he never assaulted him. He may have had a deadly weapon, but there was no physical confrontation.
I'm surprised that they didn't get charged with brandishing.
Well, I would say, yeah, brandishing a firearm or threatening violence.
I wonder if brandishing
something
is
else.
Aggravated assault in Florida. Let me check.
Yeah, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was released Monday after posting bail and is due in court for his arraignments on December 18th. Now, it is very possible that the charges will change over the next month or so, right? Usually it is, and they'll figure out what they can actually get away with charging him with. If anything, hopefully he retains a very good lawyer, or as good of a lawyer as he can, and hopefully it's all probation or, you know, as little as possible for the guy, because essentially it was a happy outcome. The retarded teenager who was selling drugs to his daughter got in an accident, and he won't have access. His parents better be getting in trouble. He better be getting in trouble. That he should hopefully be kicked out of the school or whatever it is. And then his daughter won't have to interact with this person. And hopefully the father gets away with a fine and no jail time. Yeah.
So apparently brandishing can be bumped up to aggravated assault if they feel that the situation is egregious enough.
Right, but I don't know. How could they possibly prove that in a court of law, though? because there were no witnesses other than him and the kid. Right? I mean, the father could just say the kid tried to rape me. So there's something silly like that, right? It's like, how do you prove it one way or the other, right? It's just two retards in a truck yelling at each other. Right?
No, assault. Armor Right Boy said assault is verbal, battery is physical. No, assault isn't verbal. Assault is physical as well.
Listen, I know I assault the chat every time I stream, all right? So maybe he is right about that one. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the usual suspects and barbers, of course, it was going to happen basically immediately. The Gen V switch conversions are out. They exist. It works technically. Yeah, as the meme says, life finds a way. So with some of them, there is modification, obviously, that needs to be required, depending on what kit that you go with or what very reputable Temu seller you get from. Maybe they will or won't work. Maybe they require some light modification, but they do exist. They are out in the wild. And PewView has a video of one of the new Gen Vs with a switch on it. I can't show it here on the stream. It absolutely rips. Well, it's a 19C, which is like, if you're going to Glock 18 anything, if you're going to switch anything, a ported version, a ported Glock is probably the one to do it with. I'm going to try and get to the video where he's, yeah, this'll do. Can I make this bigger? No, I don't think I can make that any bigger. But I mean, you can tell by the multitude of shells in the air around it that, yeah, it do be moving. It do be moving quite quickly. Let me grab another screenshot here. I'm sure there's a better one. Well, I mean, you guys can listen to it. How about this? Let me know if you can hear this, Richard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it do be doing its thing. All right. So yeah, Gen Vs with switches, they exist. They're out in the wild. The Glock 18C it's not comped. I don't know why they call it comped. They're ported. But I know it's called the C, but they're ported. They're ported barrels is what they are. Like, to me, compensated means like a physical compensator at the end of the gun, like a threaded barrel, right? But ported, like they're definitionally ported. So no, Glock V switches are out in the wild. And before we even have any of them locally, they're already switched up, which is what most people were theorizing, that they were going to be basically a meaningless change. So what did Glock actually accomplish with all of this? Well, they ruined their reputation in a lot of people's minds, or at least, a segment of the population's minds, because it seems like they were caving to gun control, rightly or wrongly, right? Putting that aside, they removed a lot of their top-selling models from their lineup. A lot of the models that people really wanted in the Gen 5 lineup, you just simply can't get anymore. And then with the new Gen V lineup, at least for right now, they're basically missing all of the MOS models outside of the 40 and 45 caliber stuff.
They set up their competitors to be sued out of business with legal precedents.
It's possible, right? Ruger's already said that they're not going to change anything.
But how many other people are making Glock clones that can't afford to just say no?
Well, as of yet, we haven't seen legal action move against Ruger or Shadow Systems or Lone Wolf or any of the other PSA, right? We haven't seen new legal action against them yet, but it's very possible that we could in the future, right? Everytown for Gun Safety, they put out a letter, asking for Ruger to move on from their Gen 3 design because of their ease of porting over to a switch. But as we can see here with the Gen V, it doesn't appear to be all that dissimilar. And yes, I would say within a matter of weeks to a matter of months, you will still have the 1999 switches, courtesy of Temu or AliExpress or any of these other websites, shipped directly to your door.
Through California, because,
Well, so sorry, officer says there was no legal precedent Glock K before such could happen.
They wrote a letter.
They were out of California, so there is that kind of legal precedent that states could ban them, right? Because of the cruciform trigger design, which they didn't fix in the Gen V. Maybe they'll fix it in the Gen 6. That's allegedly still coming out very soon. So maybe that will allow them to access the California market again. But they were actively being sued, I want to say, in 16 states. In 16 states, which is a lot. That's a lot of money to throw around, right? Now, you might be Glock, you might be the biggest guy in the game outside of SIG, but still, getting sued in 16 states isn't fun when, you know, sales are not in a great point right now because of the Trump slump 2.0. I mean, we're seeing 9mm under 20 cents a round again, which is fantastic. So as long as the midterms and there's not like some sort of crazy world event, we'll start seeing 5.56 down around 30 cents a round. And or 35, somewhere in that range, right? And so things are looking good for us in terms of buying stuff. But for these companies, they don't have all that extra cash laying around like they did during Rona when gun sales were through the roof. Yeah, it's looking like, unless something changes, we could have a blue wave midterm, which could actually be good for the gun industry in terms of finances, right? Because if a lot of states flip, and then you start seeing some more gun control pushes, you could see some panic buying or some more fear buying, right? Motivating people to actually get out there and get stuff. Very possible. Very, very possible. Speaking of possibilities, though, we have a straight up bomb made by IWI. Now, well, actually, that's also true. Sorry, officer says just wait for the $2,000 tariff checks to hit, which will certainly be coming 100%. That's exactly what I voted for, is more fiat currency, more nothing printed from the ether. Yay. That certainly will not devalue my currency even more, even though in the meantime, it's like a free $2,000 is a free $2,000. And, you know, that will inject cash into the market, basically, right? Because if they handed me $2,000 tomorrow, I would buy $2,000 worth of ammunition. I'd be just like, oh, perfect. That takes care of my ammo budget for the next 2 months.
Yeah,
Fine.
I don't think I'm going to see that.
Well, it would have to be done through Congress, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, is we get into tariff checks? Yeah. Do the Google search where it says "is we," and then it says "is we get into tariff checks? Is we get into food stamps?" Yeah. All right. So this is an article from Jane's Defense and Security Summit 2025. IWI reveals the boost power system for AR-15 M4 rifles. Oh, shoot. Do I not get the article from this? I'll have to grab it from a different site. Let me pull up the other site. Essentially, this is coming. This is one of the big pushes in the industry, right? Is going to be, can I get it from DefCro? I can get it from DefCro. There we go. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Essentially, they want onboard power for their rifles, right? They want onboard power for all the systems and the Gizbang Wizmos, or however you say that, all the new cool stuff that they want to put on their weapons, all require a lot of power. How do we do that? Well, we slap a battery pack on top of it, right? That is Jake in the photo. You are right, Zanico. That is actually Jake. And now, I'm not familiar with IWI rifles, and I was like, what the heck is this? This is a Carmel, isn't it? The IWI Carmel, one of the new one?
I believe so.
Yeah. So introducing the Boost system, a tactical power solution for modern warfare. Modern warfare mentioned, very based. As modern operations increasingly rely on electronic devices, the need for a reliable power source is paramount. IWI, Israeli Weapon Systems, or Israeli Weapon Industries, a prominent figure in small arms manufacturing, has announced the launch of the Boost system, a strategically designed power solution that transforms the standard AR-15 M4 into energy self-sufficient platforms. It's a battery pack. This innovative technology alleviates operational burdens associated with traditional disposable batteries, catering specifically to the rigorous demands of combat environments. Let me pull this here. So here's kind of a closer look at how the thing is going to work. So you have a battery
That's
pack
awful.
hooked up to your stock. So you've added probably a full pound in terms of batteries, because batteries are not particularly weight efficient in terms of their power density. So you kind of just need a lot of them, right? So you have this big battery pack in the back of your stock. So no more Skittles back there. That's for batteries now. And then you have a adjustable slider here. And I think this is a hard cable line in the middle with like a smaller cable that runs on the inside, so you can still adjust it forward and back. I think that's how it works, because otherwise the stock would not be adjustable. And then you have the hookup to whatever you are powering. In this case, it looks like a thermal imaging night vision scope of some sort, right? Thank you for that, Cubby. Appreciate that, good sir. All right. Key features and advantages. The boost system is seamlessly integrated into the rifle's buttstock, ensuring that it retains the soldier's natural handling, sight alignment, and shooting comfort, with minimal additional weight of under 340 grams. 340 grams is the better part of a pound. Now, I'm not sure if that's correct, but a pound of batteries is not that much batteries. So we'll see how long that powers your Gizbang Wizmos. It introduces substantial operational benefits, including field replaceable lithium-ion batteries. The system houses a rechargeable battery complemented by an internal backup that guarantees uninterrupted power supply even during peak operational demands. Extended, power management on your weapon is now going to be the new meta, right? You have ammo management, power management, everything else that you have to do within your rifle. Extended operational durations. Users can expect a considerable enhancement in operational runtime, up to 5 times longer, actively decreasing the logistical load by reducing the need for multiple batteries. Enhanced connectivity. Boost supports a variety of devices, including thermal optics, night vision gear, laser designators. Its plug-and-play power harness enables effortless integration with an extensive range of accessories, optimizing the combat readiness of personnel. Now, I actually think that this sort of thing is going to be very, very necessary when you think about combat in the next like 10 to 20 years, where you have the Anduril full face mask with the thermal, night vision, everything built into your helmet. You have feeds coming in from drones. You have feeds coming in from everything else in your AO. You have that like see-through technology that they demoed over there, or you even have the full face screen where it is 100% a visor in front of you with a meta glass,
Image
essentially,
projection.
right? Or a VR image projection, basically, right? And you're going to need power for all of this stuff. And anything that's hooked up to your rifle, having a power source on your rifle so it doesn't have to be hooked up to something else. You're going to have a power pack built into your armor somewhere to power all your stuff, right? All all that crap you don't need, Sunny, on your system. So very cool. Welcome to the future of warfare, where everything is very, very heavy. We haven't figured out the exoskeleton stuff yet. Maybe that'll be like the next jump, is you need an exoskeleton to carry all the extra weight of all of your equipment, right? In face of adverse conditions, Boost is engineered with military grade materials and connectors, ensuring resilience and reliability. Yeah, dude. Imagine, well, like you have an exoskeleton suit and your battery loses connection or something like that. And it's like, oh, I got to recharge my exoskeleton, guys. You guys go on ahead or something. Tragic. Reliability. Its rugged construction coupled with built-in thermal management systems. Blowing up randomly is not a great idea. Do not have Olight make the batteries for these, please. Making it operationally viable in extreme temperature fluctuations. Yeah, not Arctic rated. Batteries don't work too well when it gets too cold, you know? Not a great plan. You got about 15 minutes of battery life in this bad boy. A fail-safe mechanism is incorporated to maintain standard rifle functionality, even if the integrated power system fails. So basically, you got to take off whatever it is that it's powering. Implications for military operations. The introduction of a Boost system presents significant tactical advantages, not only for soldiers, but for their commanders and support logistics. The immediate operational impacts include sustained on-station endurance. Soldiers can engage longer without the frequent need for battery resupplying, thus enhancing mission efficiency. Increased payload capacity, less reliance on batteries, frees up space for essential combat resources, including Well, increased payload capacity. I don't know about this. Less reliance on batteries. It's like, good sir, we just put more batteries in the stock itself. All right. Frees up space for essential combat resources, including ammunition and medical equipment, ultimately improving mission adaptability. You want some more weight with your weight, sir? Would you like some more weight?
Yeah, 340 grams is basically 3/4 of a pound.
Yeah. Because I mean,
That's
1,000 grams would
chunky.
be 2.2. So yeah, it's at and 3/4 of a pound. I'm not even sure if that's
stock.
accurate. I'm not even sure if that's accurate because you also have the cable management system and everything else, and not to mention whatever it is you're powering. Like
No, I think they said just the batteries were 340, didn't they?
right, but that's not including the housing or any of
Yeah.
the other like accoutrements on there, right? So you have to take into account the IWI Carmel is a very heavy gun to begin with, right? It's like an 8-pound 5.56 rifle. Then you add, whatever optics you have on it, which the TA-31 is pretty light, but then you have this huge thermal scope in front of it. It's probably 1.5 pounds by itself. And you're looking at like a 12, 13-pound rifle before we've talked about ammo or anything else, suppressors and lambs and other fun things, right? The boost system signifies a pivotal advancement in military technology as armed forces adapt to increasingly complex operational environments. Solutions like boost that enhance energy reliability while minimizing logistical demands become crucial. By shifting the focus from battery dependency to integrated power management, the system not only supports individual soldier performance, but also optimizes overall mission execution in contemporary warfare. Yeah, not so sure about that. I mean, the XM7 with the XM157 will probably need a supplemental power source of some sort. And I think they've showed off a similar thing where it is a battery pack within the stock or within the rail somewhere that can supply extra power because, of course, the XM157 is more than just a scope. It's also a rangefinder and has all the other stuff that it can hook up to, and it can connect to your laser aiming module and everything else to kind of work as a whole integrated unit. And something's got to be powering that. And sometimes CR 2032s and 123As just aren't going to be cutting it. Yeah. But yeah, who's excited? Who's excited for their 12-pound rifle with a bomb strapped next to their cheek?
That's what I was going to say. I wonder if IWI is replacing one of the cells on each side with a little something spicier.
The batteries were made in the same factory as our pagers, I'll have you know. We're the best pager manufacturers on the planet. Wait, what was that for?
Because the pager battery factories are probably in Africa because the lithium mines.
Oh, yeah. Well, the mines certainly are. I mean, come on. We got to have the children. The children must be making those for us, okay?
They yearn.
They yearn for the mines. They yearn for Minecraft or something like that. Let me see here. Speaking of Israeli Minecraft children connoisseurs, this is Jake's favorite topic. A little update here on the Matthew Crook situation, which of course we covered last stream on Monday. Major update on November 19th, 2025. House investigators said the FBI failed to disclose a large set of Thomas Matthew Crook's online posts. You don't say. They were hiding it the whole time, huh? Online post material, they argue, sharply alters the understanding of his motive in the July 2024 attempt on President Trump. Lawmakers briefed in closed session said the Bureau only recently admitted it possessed dozens of writings across deviant art. You don't say. Fringe forums and niche social platforms in which crooks identified with they them pronouns, expressed admiration for armed political force, repeated the idea that power comes from the barrel of a gun, and shared or consumed content tied to small Norwegian far-right circles. So it's weird because Norwegian Antifa is right-wing because it was a Antifa actor over in Norway, right? Something like that.
Yes, it was, but I think that they just use left and right differently over there.
Members said that none of this was turned over during the initial inquiry. I wonder why. And they accused the FBI of slow-walking answers after earlier controversy over missed warnings from local police. They said the new posts contradict the Bureau's prior stance that Crook's motive was unclear and lacked ideological structure. Yeah, TFD. Right, that was his ideological structure right here. Listen, I mean, furries should be put in concentration camps. That's all.
Man,
Right?
it's
Not a problem. Just
sad to see
we need
Brandon Wombat go out like that.
we need to attempt to recitivize these people, and they really need to think long and hard about where their life went wrong. Maybe we could even bring back electroshock therapy. It's a possibility, right? The recovered materials matches earlier reporting describing Crook's mix of violent imagery, paramilitary aesthetics, fixation on muscle mommy furry accounts, words that are not in the Bible, and deep involvement in online furry and deviant art communities. Classmates had portrayed him as isolated, cycling through alternate identities and posting artwork built around weapons, armored figures, and revenge scenarios. All right. Records show he began posting anti-Trump comments as early as January 2020, while consuming videos on insurgent attacks and reposting Nordic accelerationist memes. Investigators say his contact with Norwegian far-right content does not prove membership. The timeline reconstructed from the newly surfaced files shows a steady hardening from 2021 through 2023. Early posts leaned on violent symbolism, but by mid-2022, Crooks was writing more directly about overthrow, coercion, and the illegitimacy of electoral politics. By early 2023, his DeviantArt entries grew darker and more explicit. I'm not going to look those up. Mirroring searches for vantage points and field tests of improvised devices in wooded areas near his home. And Lucas Bachman, which I agree with, furries should be just put into camps. I think there is a solution of a certain amount of finality, right, for these sorts of people. And we should just not tolerate this within our society. And maybe we get some more desirable outcomes, right? If we remove this cancerous infection from our people, right? Anyways, yeah, we were right once again. Yeah, the leftist deranged tranny furries strike once again. Funny how him and Tyler Robinson were into furries. Funny how these weird degenerate communities just promulgate evil and all this other disgusting stuff. It's almost like they shouldn't be part of our society. That's crazy, man. It's almost like furries, there's something wrong with those people. Wow. Common Lucas W. Yeah. Well, Lucas has a bone to pick with furries, let's be honest. Because, I mean, some would say that furry art happened to coincide with the removal of him from his own company. So, yeah, maybe he has a specific bone to pick with furries, with those wonderful individuals. Now, furries aren't the only disgusting, degenerate thing. What about the National Fraternal Order of Police and how they straight up hate you, and they do not want you to be armed, and how you being armed and having the rights inherent to your birth in this country would be dangerous to their police officers? All right, but before we get to that, Cubby over on Ko-Fi says they keep making me pay for stimulus checks that I don't qualify for. Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you make a good amount of money, if you make 150K, 200K, quarter mil, whatever it might be, you ain't getting these, but you are paying for them. So thank you very much. Sorry about that, Cubby. Subarctic Psycho for $10 on Ko-Fi says, John, you better make a playlist of your songs or else I'll tickle you. I'll tickle you until you scream. Tickle, tickle. I've never been more threatened than tickling than by that right now. Subarctic Psycho says, give us the music. We want Dancing Miku Simple Dreams playlist. I'll give you a tickle fight. You can't win, John. I'll tickle you into pieces. Thank you, Subarctic Psycho. Somebody has a tickling fantasy. Ridiculous says the children will have AI goggles to make them think they're playing Minecraft when they're crafting the mines IRL. That's dystopian, but cool. Okay, that's the good dystopian ending. All right. Huge Ass over on Ko-Fi says, police, we can't have people carrying guns because we defend them. Also, police, we have no duty to protect you. Yeah. Get away, would you? We actually do not have a duty to you or to anyone else. Ethan from Texas for 10 says, I'm here. Sorry for my lateness. I was listening to a suspected Bigfoot vocalizations and imagining going mountain camping with the boys in full kit. What did I miss? Wow. Well, we talked about Double Lot Sean getting kicked out. We talked about, I almost said O-Light, but sorry, Cloud Defensive, maybe shipping lights. Leopold not shipping reticles. Very funny if you ask me. Based dad going after daughter's drug dealer. And of course, the usual suspects have recreated the Gen V in about 5 minutes. On top of that, we have battery packed assault rifles before GTA 6. But everybody knew that. Thank you, Heathen. Mo for 5 says, can you explain your stance? Explaining your stance on Israel? Okay, so this is a serious comment. So can you explain your stance on Israel? Not sure if you are being sarcastic with comments or you're just fed up with government shenanigans. No, my stance on Israel is very, very simple. I don't enjoy the amount of influence that they brag about having over our politicians. AIPAC brags about having like a 98% success rate with their politicians, which does happen to be just about everybody. I think there's only 2 politicians in the Senate that haven't taken AIPAC money, and you can kind of figure out which 2 of those they are. I don't enjoy the fact that they brag about controlling aspects of social media, of the entertainment industry, of the financial industry, of the degenerate industries as well. And I think that it would be better if they had less. I think we certainly would be better if they had no influence on American politics. All right. Pretty simple, right? Nothing too radical. That's palatable. Normies can take that, right? Normies can take that take. Mo for 2 says, with Crimson Trace, didn't buy Nikon's line of scopes. Nikon did discontinue their scopes, but did Crimson Trace just buy the prescriptions for all of them? Because I remember using some Nikon scopes back in the day that weren't terrible. But say Levy. Amrite Boy for 2 says, assault is verbal, battery is physical. Listen, whatever it is, I'll let you guys quibble about the terms. All right, I'm not a lawyer. Gaboon for 2 says THC concentrate / dab cartridge are a felony in Florida. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Zanico for 2 says, I want Jake to brandish his metatarsals. All right, we're pulling out the $2 words. Thank you, Zanico. Judd McGill for 2 says Glock's biggest defender here. RXM is gay. Richard Gassy. All right, fair enough. I think the RXM is really attractive for the money. I think the grip is decent. So I don't have a problem with the RXM existing. Saddam Hussein, the thick paw girl enjoyer, for 5 says, I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Albert Einstein. Yeah, but Albert Einstein also married his cousin and stole a lot of his work. And also that's retarded because it wouldn't be a world war if it was with sticks and stones. I get what he means by that, but not a fan of old Albert. You should look up what Albert said about you, Saddam. Wasn't a fan. Saddam Hussein again. Thick Pog Girl Enjoy for 5 says, we would drain our Humvee's batteries with our Blue Force trackers and our tow systems when we had the optics plugged into the trucks. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Batteries in austere conditions, especially over time, they degrade. So adding another system to manage for the everyday soldier, it's coming, but I don't enjoy it. I don't like the idea of it. Saddam Hussein for 2 says, Richard hit on me at Kroger by the bananas. Well, did he hit on you at Kroger by the bananas, or was he throwing bananas at you? It's very different.
Out.
He goes feral when he sees those bananas, all right? He's about to hit you with something special over there. Thank you, Saddam Hussein. We only have the best supporters over here. Saddam Hussein, Hilter lover, best supporters. Moonman for 5 says, Richard, that thing I made you. Also, no idea what we were talking about, but total everyone who isn't like me on a live. Fairly normal stance. Central Stance Defense for 5 says, when did you get radicalized? Oh, not sure. Maybe it was protecting drug dealers, promoting furries, or cops being anti-gun. Not sure. Yeah, it's one of those things, just take your pick. Take your pick. Coppertone for 5 says, Richard, Sydney Sweeney and Hugo Boss. Do you have it?
I don't, but let me see what I can do.
Okay. And I'm purposely not going to read Moonman's for a few minutes so I can see what that looks like. All right. So this is from the, what's the name? National Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, for immediate release, FOP, and I issue call to action on HR 38, which I believe is concealed carry reciprocity nationwide, which the Fraternal Order of Police says, we would prefer you not to have concealed carry, please. Please don't do that, please. No guns for you, please. Leadership from the U.S. House of Representatives recently announced that consideration of H.R. 38, the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, will be a priority when Congress returns. The National Fraternal Order of Police and FOP and the International Association of Chiefs. Why does the International Association of Chiefs of Police get a say in American politics at all? Why would I even allow you to speak to me about American politics? How dare you? How dare you? Which collectively represent a majority of rank and file officers and police executives, have serious reservations about the impact this legislation would have on officer safety. For our officers' safety, you must be disarmed. All right? Do you understand me? If you had concealed carry law of the land, we would feel less safe. And they do all of this while ignoring what is actually making police officers less safe. Because I would like to live in a world where there was very low crime and police officers were very safe as they, helped old ladies across the street, right? Ideal Americana, right? That'd be fantastic, okay? But if we could just all collectively realize what the real problem is that's making these police officers unsafe, and these types of people that were, doing these bad things just weren't here, we could very simply, maintain officer safety and have everybody carrying a gun, right? We can have both. We have serious reservations about the impact this legislation would have on officer safety, officer liability, qualified immunity, and the state of local gun safety laws. This legislation exempts any person with a valid photographic identification from state or local firearms law who asserts that they are lawfully carrying a firearm under the laws of their own state of residence. So again, concealed carry reciprocity. I have a concealed carry permit here in South Dakota. Though South Dakota is a constitutional carry, the reason why I have a permit here is because that allows me to just fill out the 4473 and walk away. You don't even have to go through the NICS check, right? Very nice here in South Dakota. This is problematic, but the most concerning provision of this is problematic. This is like the HR lady coming to you. She's like, John, this is really problematic here, all right? This is problematic language that could lead to an unsafe work environment. But the most concerning provision of HR 38 is that it prohibits law enforcement officers from making any arrest. We can't even arrest them. Or detaining a suspect for any violation of state or local law pertaining to the possession, transportation, or carriage of a firearm. This also includes several federal laws such as carriage in school zones and federally managed lands. Now, I think that that's just incorrect. I think that's fear-mongering because most of the time the police officers can, they can arrest you for other things, not just the fact that you're carrying a gun. And if they know that you're carrying a gun, it's usually because you've been doing something else. So they can probably fix that. The bill goes further and provides that any person who is deprived of any right, privilege, or immunity may sue the law enforcement officer based. Listen, all right, if a police officer wrongfully takes away your rights as a person, right, they should be sued for that. Yes, you should be responsible for your actions as a police officer. 100%. Right?
Deprivation of rights under color of law is a felony.
Well, right, but it's like they can sue us. It's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And we can do more than sue you. We can charge you with a felony.
Probably not going to happen, but you can definitely sue them. Who would not be afforded qualified immunity. This makes it impossible for any officer to conduct any investigation with respect to ascertaining if the person is in fact compliant with the firearms law in their state of residence. It would also expose the officer to civil liability if, for example, they were to secure the firearm while they conducted an investigation into other suspected criminal activity. It's like, yeah, you don't get to violate people's rights willy-nilly. Like, it's pretty simple. It's like, it'll make us afraid to go after people. Yeah. It's like, if there's no valid reason to go after them simply for having a gun, you don't just get to go after them. Now, if it's in commission of another crime, like, this isn't really that much of an issue. Like, the way I see it, if police are interacting with you, it's usually not because you just have a gun on you. It's because you assaulted somebody. It's because you were drinking and driving. It's because you were in possession of controlled substances. It's because you were in an altercation with somebody else. It's because you were threatening somebody else. You've already committed another crime, right? Because, of course, in this case, firearm would not be a crime at all. but you've already committed a crime in which they can put you in jail for, right? Or take you away from, all right? Officers will be expected to interpret and apply laws from all 50 states in real time without reliable means to verify an individual's eligibility to carry concealed weapons, especially those from permitless carry states where no physical permit exists, like South Dakota. This leaves law enforcement unable to confirm lawful possessions during encounters, creating confusion and heightened risks in high-stakes situations. This would only be a high-risk situation if you're confronting somebody who has already done something dangerous. And if they've already done something dangerous, you can simply arrest them for that dangerous thing, right? It keeps going on. I mean, the law enforcement officers are most likely to encounter armed citizens when responding to a disturbance call or making a traffic stop. In 2024, 92 officers were shot when answering a disturbance call. Can I see the stats on who shot them? Can I see the stats on that real fast? 8 of whom were killed. In that same year, 49 law enforcement officers were shot during traffic stops, 12 of whom were killed. So we're talking about, in an entire year, 20 cops were killed during interactions with civilians in terms of disturbance calls and traffic stops. 20 cops in a country of 330 million people in 2024. That's very, very low. Very, very low. And of course, if we break down at who's actually shooting at police officers, like there's a root cause problem that we could fix in the country, right? There's a root cause problem. Officers handle these encounters differently if their suspect is armed or discovered to be armed. This is for their safety, the suspect's safety, and the public safety. If a driver from Vermont, a state that allows its residents to carry firearms without a license or permit, is stopped by a Virginia state trooper, as soon as the driver provides a valid photographic identification and asserts that he or she is lawfully carrying under the laws of Vermont, he or she has met the requirements of HR 38. Mega based. Mega cool. Yeah, you're right, Virginia cop. I do get to carry a gun. Could you please back away from me now? The driver is not subject to any of Virginia's firearm laws. Mega based. And because the bill includes provisions that allow individuals to sue law enforcement agencies should they deprive you of your right, of course, because you have broken the law, because HR 38 would be law of the land, the trooper would be placing himself in legal jeopardy in taking any action that could later be construed as depriving the driver of any rights or privileges. Yes, as a police officer, you should not be depriving citizens of rights, right, or privileges in any way, shape, or form, okay? Not until that person has committed a crime, and not a crime of just having a firearm on their person, which again would be legal in their state and wherever they happen to be with concealed carry reciprocity or HR 38, right? They would not have committed a crime. So this would not give you any liability unless you arrest them for not committing a crime, okay? This would include securing the firearm to determine if the driver is impaired or engaged in other criminal activity unrelated to the firearm. See, that one there, I simply don't believe. I don't think that's real. Because I think if you suspect somebody of being a drunk driver, you can basically immediately detain them. I'm not sure how it actually works. I'm sure the police officers in chat can let me know. But if you suspect somebody of drunk driving, first thing you're going to do is probably call for a second cop. You're going to call it in over the radio, and then you're going to do whatever inspection it is. And if it's found that, yeah, we have a reasonable cause to believe that they're a drunk driver, you're going to arrest them. At which point, yes, all of their possessions get taken away. Okay, that's just how it works, right? This isn't some sort of like extra step. It's just that you can't take their gun away for no reason, for the simple fact of them having a gun on them. That's it. The inability to confirm whether someone is lawfully carrying a concealed firearms increases the risk of armed encounter. Also, they're making this seem like a big deal. How many times out of that 20 officers who were killed, how many of them were killed by people with an out-of-state driver's license? 2? 3? I would be shocked if it was like 5, right? Because that'd be a quarter of all traffic stop deaths from cops were from out of state. So we're talking like a handful, very, very few. And that's the only thing that this would affect would be out of state drivers. And it's not, I don't, listen, okay, I'm just going to be real with you. I don't think a California cop needs to be worried about a out-of-state South Dakota driver. I'm just going to say it. I don't think you got much to worry about from the Midwestern man traveling to California for some reason. Just going to say it, all right? The inability to confirm whether somebody's lawfully concealed, blah, 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 when encountering an armed suspect. jeopardizes qualified immunity. The bill also seems to cancel any qualified immunity for the officers, as the right of Americans to bear arms is guaranteed by the Second Amendment. It's like, yeah, you're right. Qualified immunity protects officers from civil liability unless they violate clearly established statutory or constitutional rights. Could you read your sentence again? Like, go back, read the sentence again. Americans' right to bear arms is guaranteed by the Second Amendment. Qualified immunity protects officers from civil liability unless they violated a clearly established statutory or constitutional right. Like, literally one sentence later. Literally one sentence later. Any officer, any action the officer may take in reaction to the knowledge that the person they have encountered is armed could place that officer in very real legal peril. I mean, that's every officer interaction. Every officer interaction has the possibility of quote unquote legal peril by their own misdeeds, right? As described above, officers who fear their actions may result in personal liability means that no encounter with an armed suspect would be routine or by the book. This only applies to out-of-state drivers. That's it. Which is, again, I think out-of-state driver confrontations have to be under 10%. Unless you're like right on a border town or something like that, right? But if you're in the middle of a state or in a big state, the out-of-state drivers is not going to be that complicated, bro. And literally, it's like, how many states have constitutional carry? What is it, 17? So you know if they're from one of these 17 states and they have a valid driver's license from that state, bada bing, bada boom, they have constitutional carry. You can't take away their gun. Pretty damn simple. It's not that complicated, right? It's not that complicated. Qualified immunity protects officers from civil liability, blah, blah, blah. As described above, they fear for their actions. Yeah, you should also always be in fear of your actions causing problems, okay? Because, like, listen, when I'm driving, I am in fear of my actions getting me into civil liability, right? Because I don't just drive willy-nilly. I don't drive into somebody else's property. I don't drive into a store, right? I am responsible for my actions, right? If I injure somebody, if I deprive somebody of their rights, then I should be held liable for my action. Just because you have a badge shouldn't free you from responsibility, right? And in fact, I would say it gives you even more responsibility. Undermines a state sovereignty and authority to investigate. Many states already recognize concealed carry permits from jurisdictions with comparable requirements, such as live training and enhanced background checks, all of which are roadblocks to constitutional carry. These agreements respect state sovereignty and public safety without federal overreach. This legislation would override these tailored arrangements and strip states of their ability to set and enforce their own standards for concealed carry. Instead of officers being thoroughly trained on their state and local gun safety laws, officers would be expected to interpret and apply laws from all 50 states in real time. Again, this would only ever come into play with an out-of-state person you're interacting with, which again is less than 10% of all cases. This is very, very minimal. Especially those from permitless carry states where no physical permit exists. Conclusion: while the FOP and IACP support the Second Amendment and respect the rights of lawful and responsible gun ownership that we allow them to do, the specific provisions of HR 38 present serious concerns for law enforcement officers. The bill's creation of personal liability for officers, yes, you are liable for your actions, combined with its erosion of state and local authorities' ability to regulate firearms, mega-based, and conduct reasonable investigation of armed searches, mega-based, threatens officer safety and exposes agencies and officers to costly litigation for your actions, which again, more responsibility, more better. I'm fine with that. For these reasons, the FOP and IACP urge the U.S. House of Representatives to reject H.R. 38, the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, should it come to the floor for a vote. Thank you very much for that. Let's see, what's the comments like on here? Comments are probably pretty good. Yeah. Texas is permitless carry. South Dakota's permitless carry. It's very nice. I just assume that everybody I interact with has a gun on them. But, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know where this came from. Goth cowgirl supremacy. You guys are into weird stuff, bro. Can't you guys just be normal? Can't you guys just like regular women? Right? What's wrong with regular women? All right. Look at this. Regular women. All right. Why can't you all just be into regular women, you know, with their fancy uniforms? Okay. Regular women like that. No problem. Unbelievable. You guys are strange. Yeah, the thin blue line, folks. You are my greatest ally. And this guy's like, give me your guns or I will kill you. Constitutional carry does not make our officers safer. Who said it was about officer safety? It's literally not about you. How dudes who support gun control drink drinks. And glizzy straw. You guys like the glizzy straw? The glizzy straw. Gross. We swore an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, except for that one part that we don't like because of, consequences. Firearms Policy Coalition saying its thing. I need the worst take you have. No, that's too terrible. Wow, very cute. Actually, that's a good PFP. I'm going to save that for you.
All right.
That's a good PFP. I'll send this to you right now.
I already got it.
Oh, you already got it? Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
fast. All right, damn. I don't know how you got it that fast. All right. Well, yeah, so that's the National Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, and the International Association of Chief of Polices, which, again, I don't know why anybody internationally has any right to tell Americans what they can and can't do or what you should or should not be voting on.
Yeah.
Tomboys make for the best wives. You guys are... You guys are so strange. Lizzie the Glizzy and the Jizzy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Moonman for 5 says, oh wait, no, I'm gonna save this one. Chud for 2 says, Moonman, no, my gassy. It's true, your gassy is gone, replaced with the SS Sweeney. Polly B for 15 says, police kvetching about concealed carry reciprocity is so I don't know how to pronounce that. Execrable? All right. We're learning English together today here. Execrable. Deserving a curse of very poor quality or condition. Unequivocally detestable.
Execrable.
Okay, perfect. Is so execrable because all the data shows registered concealed carry holders are the most law-abiding citizens, people in the country, including cops. It's true. It is very true. Thank you for the 15, Polly. That is incredibly generous of you, good sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, wrong button. Moonman for 2 says the root cause problem has a color. Listen, I'm just saying there's some stats I could pull up to back up my theory here. Okay, there's just a couple stats, maybe some anecdotal evidence that we're about to go over about this. But thank you, Moonman. Thank you for the 5, sir. Central States Defense says look up the stats on unaliving and car crashes. Unaliving and car crashes. Are we talking about suicide?
Yes.
If you could suicide. Well, yeah, the suicide stats really bad. In Canada with MAID, right? The suicide stat or the MAID, the assisted death, is like 97% white or something like that. So it is quite literally just a death program for white people in Canada's MAID. Look that up. Dogwater Tactical for 5 says nothing, drops 5 on the table and walks away, but it's a cool dog. I like dogs. I'd give that dog a pet. It might not like it, but I would still pet it. Moonman for 5 says, no, Coppertone, Richard, that thing I made you for 5. I think you got to raise the bid to 10. The next person that wants to change it has to go up to 10. It's just the rules of the road. Sorry about that. Thank you, Moonman. Appreciate it, good sir. All right. I got to make sure nobody's over here on Rumble because I think last week I missed a couple on Rumble. So I'm very sorry. Very sorry about that. That was a $15 word. Exclusive. Suspect in custody for... of course, this is Chicago. Setting woman on fire on Blue Line is supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor. Richard, could you guess what nationality this man this happens to be? The man who happened to set a woman on fire was supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor for his past crimes. Chicago police have detained a suspect in connection with the horrific setting of a woman on fire aboard a Blue Line train on the Loop Monday night, according to a source familiar with the investigation. And the source says the suspect is supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor for pending aggravated battery case. All right, battery. That's physical assault, right, guys? You were arguing about that before, but that means assault, right? We're talking about assault, right? That's physical, beating somebody up. You know what? let him out. Just give him an ankle monitor or something. What does that Napa do? He cuts the ankle monitor off. Of course. Why would he actually wear it? You know, now you would think if you removed your ankle monitor that they would just come pick you up and throw you back in jail. Right.
He used the same bolt cutters that he used on the bike locks.
Very efficient. You know, it's a dual purpose role those bolt cutters have. This is crazy. For pending aggravated battery assault case in which a Cook County judge refused to keep him in custody. Thank you, judges. Very cool.
What judge is that?
I don't remember if I saw the picture for this judge, but my
Was
mind
it one
is
that had a name?
My mind is leaning and an address. My mind is leaning towards a woman, but I don't remember if I saw the specific judge in this case. Okay. CWB is not naming the man because the man has not been criminally charged. But here's what we know. Charges filed. We do have the update. The man who has a history of arson cases.
Wait,
so he no.
He hasn't been charged?
No, he has now. He was not charged originally because they didn't know exactly what happened, I guess. Or they're just inbred retards, whatever you want to say. Anyways,
But he already
so listen, pending aggravated battery case. The man also has a history of arson cases. So listen, you can burn buildings, cars, people, assault people, and if you're the right race through restorative justice, you can just be let out. Why? Why would you ever be in public? Was arrested around midday in the Loop as he prepared to board a train near Clark and Washington. We have also learned that, contrary to the initial information released by CPD, there was no argument between the victim and the assailant. This was a targeted attack, no arguing, no interaction beforehand, nothing. Rather, a source said the attack appears completely random and unprovoked. This is basically a mirroring of Irina Zarutska. This is basically what if the video comes out, it is going to be horrifying, disgusting, and almost a 1-for-1 Irina. About 9:25 p.m. Monday, the 26-year-old woman, they're not releasing the race of the woman, but I can tell you what the race is in just a minute because we have the photos. The 26-year-old woman was sitting on the train using her phone. Like, listen, women, all right, I know you have to use a public transportation for some reason, which I would totally recommend against. If you're in public around these people, you can't be on your phone. You can't. I mean, I don't even know if you can be around these people, right? It's a recipe for disaster. You can't do this.
And by using her phone, we mean crazy people on public transportation.
Yeah. There's usually a type. When the man walked up and poured liquid from a beverage bottle on her head, a source said the woman ran through the train car, but he was chasing her, pouring alcohol on her. He caught up with her and set the liquid, as well as portions of his own body, on fire, according to the source. So he just there's a white girl sitting in front of me. I'm gonna take this alcohol bottle because of course I'm drinking on the train like a retarded degenerate. I'm gonna pour it all over, chase her down, and light her on fire. I've seen enough, sir. Electric chair or public hanging. How about that? The woman was now, fortunately, she did not die, although not a good time. Not a good time. Not a good way to go. The woman was taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. No one on the train stepped in to help the woman. Again, this is a 1-for-1 Irina case. And if the footage comes out of this man chasing down this 26-year-old woman while pouring alcohol on her to light her on fire, to murder her because of her race, no one on the train stepped in to help after the woman was set on fire. The source said one witness later told police they saw the woman's phone on fire and initially believed it had exploded, causing flames to spread onto her. Court records show prosecutors asked a Cook County judge to keep the suspect in custody after he was charged with aggravated battery causing great bodily harm in the suburbs this summer. But the judge rejected their request and put him on 24/7 electronic monitoring, according to court records.
Oh, the witness said that they thought her phone exploded.
Richard, we're dealing with Chicago retards, all right? And the witness being unreliable, it's just...
That seems like they're trying to cover for the guy.
It's possible. Less than 3 weeks later, another judge modified the terms of his monitor to let him out of the house during daytime hours. Thanks, judges. According to court documents, 9:25 p.m. Was well after his daily curfew. And again, they were just allowing him out and about. They don't care. The office of Chief Judge Timothy Evans operates the electronic monitoring program that was supposed to keep track of the man. CWB Chicago will name the judges who made the detention decisions if and when the man is charged with the CTA attack. Now I'm trying to remember. Right. All right. All right. Well. Blue Lane fire attacker yelled, "Burn alive, bitch," as the officers took him into custody. If any of you guessed this individual against this type of woman, ding, 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 you win $1. Yay. After being arrested by Chicago police officers in the Loop on Tuesday morning, the man accused of setting a woman on fire aboard a Blue Line train this week spontaneously yelled, "Burn, bitch, burn, burn alive, bitch," according to a newly filed federal criminal complaint. Lawrence Reed, a 50-year-old man on pretrial for release for allegedly knocking a psychiatric ward social worker unconscious in August. You can assault somebody, get charged with aggravated assault for knocking a psychiatrist unconscious 3 months ago, and then you can be out to set a woman on fire, violating your curfew, violating the terms of your release. You've already taken off your ankle monitor that you're supposed to be wearing 24/7. Very nice. Lawrence Reed, 50-year-old man on pretrial release, is federally charged with a terrorist attack or other violence against a mass transportation system. Public execution. In a complaint filed Wednesday morning, an agent of the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives describes Monday's random attack on a 26-year-old woman in gut-wrenching detail, saying CTA surveillance video showed Reed dousing the woman with gasoline. Oh, so this was straight up premeditated murder then. Not just he happened to have alcohol on him, right?
Yeah.
Dousing the woman with gasoline, igniting her, and watching as she burned before walking away. The allegations describe a sequence of events that began about 20 minutes before the attack, when Reed was recorded at Westside gas station filling a small container with gasoline while wearing the same clothing later seen on CTA's surveillance footage. The complaint says Reed walked from the Citgo, I don't know what Citgo is, I'm not from Chicago, Citgo station towards a nearby Blue Line station at Kedzie in Congress, where CTA records show a transit card linked to him was used to board a train at 9:04 p.m. 9:24 cameras inside the Blue Line train captured the victim sitting in the middle. What am I looking at here? This is the victim right here?
I'm going to believe so.
Is the fire already lit? What am I looking for?
Well, he did apparently light himself on fire as well.
Okay. Cameras inside the Blue Line train captured the victim sitting in the middle of the car while Reed sat at the rear without any apparent interaction. So there was no racial, like, she wasn't yelling the N-word at him, which wouldn't change the outcome, right? You still can't light somebody on fire, even if you don't like mean words. Without any apparent interaction, the affidavit says Reed stood up, approached the woman from behind, removed the cap from the bottle he was holding, and poured the liquid over her head and body. So this is straight up attempted murder. When he tried to ignite the liquid, the woman fought him off and ran towards the front of the train. The complaint said Reed then ignited the bottle itself, dropped it, picked it back up while it burned. So this is him holding the bottle to come over and light her on fire. And she is cowering away from him. The other men, quote unquote, on the train just ignore him. Whatever. I don't care. Not my problem. I'm not going to do anything. Why should I get involved?
Yeah, bystander says that he thought that her phone caught on fire. Meanwhile, the dude lit a bottle and then poured it over top of her. This is...
I mean, good on you, ma'am. 26-year-old. Like, I mean, this is the same age as my wife, right? When he tried, good on her for fighting him off, though. The woman fought him off, more manly than the other people, quote unquote, on the train, fought him off and ran towards the front of the train. The complaint said Reed then ignited the bottle itself, dropped it, picked it back up while it burned, and used it to set the woman on fire, according to the complaint. Screen captures included in the filing allegedly showing Reed buying the gasoline and walking towards the cowering, soaking wet victim with a flaming bottle. If one image does not sum up American society in 2025 and all of the problems we've been talking about, the cops hate you, the cops don't want you to be armed, but this image right here, this is it, right? Weak, effeminate bystanders allowing this career criminal, to just set your future on fire. But they'll complain about you having a concealed carry gun. You lawful citizen. How dare you? Anyways, we got to let this guy run free, though. I mean, he's just assaulted people and set other people on fire before. It's not like he's a problem to society, okay?
The judge who signed off on his pretrial release needs to be charged as an accomplice in this assault.
The train reached the Clark and Lake platform moments later. Investigators wrote that the victim exited the train while still engulfed in flames and collapsed on the platform, where bystanders rushed to help her. Reed allegedly walked away from the scene. As a CWB Chicago reported on Tuesday, a source said that nobody on the train with the woman and Reed made any effort to assist her as she burned. There is what looks to be a large man here and another woman who I don't really blame the woman for cowering in the back against the this thing, not wanting to get involved, right? If it were a man, I would judge very, very harshly, but I don't blame this woman too much. Responding officers arrived around 9:25 and found the woman lying on her back with severe burns to her face and body. Inside the train, police recovered a melted bottle, a lighter, clothing remains, and what they described as an ignitable liquid pooled on a passenger seat near where the woman had been sitting. Reed was arrested Tuesday morning at around 11:29 a.m. near I-40 West Washington Street after officers spotted him wearing the same clothing seen in both the train and gas station videos. Body-worn camera recordings captured what federal agents described as a fire injuries on Reed's right hand. During the ride to the detective division, Reed repeatedly yelled phrases that included "burn bitch" and "burn alive bitch." According to the affidavit, those statements were described as spontaneous and unprompted. This guy sitting in the back of a police cruiser, arrested on his way to jail, just screaming "burn bitch, burn bitch." Psychotic animal that needs to be put down in public. How's that? How's that for my normie take? The victim's condition was not included in the federal filing, but CPD said on Monday she was in critical condition. Prayers for that young lady. That is absolutely tragic. In April 2020, Reed poured gasoline. Of course he did. Reed poured gasoline along the north end of the Thompson Center and set it ablaze because he had not received his Social Security check. Yeah, pay me or else I will murder people. I don't get my Social Security check, I kill people.
That's terrorism. Why was he not charged?
2020. Different power structure. Prosecutor said at the time he started the fire as Governor J.B. Pritzker, funny name, was preparing to hold his daily COVID-19 press conference inside the building, but there was no indication that Pritzker was targeted or that Reed knew the governor was present. The fire caught on camera from a passerby.
Joe, this nigga came and tried to burn up CTA. Look at this shit. This man came over here and tried to burn up the Thompson Center, Joe. I saw him getting off the damn thing.
It's also tiring. Reed ultimately pleaded guilty to arson and received 2 years of mental health probation.
Judge Arthur Hill.
All right. Yeah. 2 years of mental health probation. All right.
You know what, though? To be fair to this judge, he probably wasn't aware of the fire I bet that the fire alarms probably didn't go off because the batteries were low.
Right. Right. All right. Anyways, despite being arrested 3 times on misdemeanor charges, including twice for battery while on probation, the court deemed his probation performance satisfactory after prosecutors dropped all of those charges. Ah, nice. Coincidentally, the Clark Lake Blue Line station is located in the basement of the Thompson Center. On August 19th, Reed allegedly knocked a social worker unconscious while he was being treated at McNeil Hospital. Ah, 3 months to the day. 3 months to the day. You can knock somebody unconscious and get probation on. He's released on good behavior. All right. In a detention petition filed 3 days after the incident, state prosecutors said that he struck the female social worker about the face with an open hand, causing the victim pain and loss of consciousness.
He knocked her out.
The victim, who was on duty at the time, suffered extreme nausea, severe pain in the eye and head, and difficulty with balance. Yeah, that's called a concussion. That prompted 2 emergency room visits. The petition said she likely has optic nerve bruising and a concussion, causing her to experience memory issues, headaches, and daily nausea. Prosecutor wrote, charging Reed with aggravated battery causing great bodily harm. Despite the allegations, Judge Teresa Molina Gonzalez. Why do I have to do this? Why?
What is it majored in sociology? Yeah.
Not a dietitian, let me tell you that. Despite the allegations, Judge Teresa Molina Gonzalez rejected the detention request and ordered Reed released on electronic monitoring rather than being put in jail. While the court clerk's notes described the monitoring as 24/7, a document signed by Molina Gonzalez shows she authorized him to leave the home between 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays. Now, keep in mind that this attack happened at 9 o'clock at night. The order also barred him from the psychiatric hospital unless it was a medical emergency. On September 12th, court records show Judge Ralph Mischek. Balletopedia. No picture. No picture for this guy. Modified Reed's electronic monitoring order to allow him out of his home during some daytime hours on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Neither order would have allowed Reed to be on the CTA or out of his home at 9:35 p.m. on Monday or any day. The case is still pending. Over the last weekend, someone matching Reed's general description set a fire outside his... All right. According to a CPD report, Mayor Brandon Johnson told the press on Monday, while we do not know the motives of this attempted arson, it goes without saying that this type of violence has no place in our politics. Well, I mean, you literally allow it. Yesterday, we asked his office, Johnson, had any evidence that politics played any role in the City Hall fire. We are still waiting for his response. Reed has not been charged with the City Hall fire. He is the 19th person accused of killing or trying to kill someone in Chicago this year while on felony pretrial release. Like, I know how to take this number, this 19 people killing or trying to kill people while on pre-release. I know how to get that number down to 0. We incarcerate them, right? We do the job of the justice system and we incarcerate those people who don't belong in our society. All right. All right. All right. Richard, go ahead and change it for Zany while we're moving on. The Not Horrible series, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, great. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ralph, Teresa Molina Gonzalez, and what's this guy's name again? Arthur Hill. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Your service is Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah. I don't know. Is there a better image that sums up modern society? Just the Napa with the bottle on fire, waiting to light the cowering woman on fire after he's poured over it with gasoline. And of course, keep in mind that this animal should be in jail. He's already committed. He assaulted somebody in August. He set fire before. He's had 3 assault and battery misdemeanors beforehand, and he just, pre-release trial will let them out. Okay. Yeah, clearly setting fire and murdering to feed his starving family. Yeah, they put bread in then their speakers or then their sneakers or whatever they happen to be taking. Which one is this? I did put him in the thumbnail, so I do kind of have to talk about this one. But while we're on the Richard, did you do the thing that Zany asked you to do?
I'm trying to find it. I don't.
Oh, okay. I think I have it somewhere around here.
I'm looking through mine, and I don't.
It might take a minute to find it. Well, Zany, just send it to Jake. What's your problem, homie? Or just send it to Richard.
I told him to send it to me.
Yeah, just send it to him. He'll get it for you. All right. Well, in case you weren't in a bad enough mood, there's oh, they took the video down? No. Ah, the video is so good. Well, let me see if I can find it. All right, how about this one? This one have the video? Yeah, here we go. All right. Another similar one, which also happens to pertain to policing, concealed carry laws, and the fact that police will be scared to, interact with you, a law-abiding citizen, but will be fine taking away your concealed carry rights or limiting what you can and can't do. All right, of course. A man shot to death during robbery in Southeast Oklahoma City. I kind of gave it away there, but a 21-year-old man died after being shot during a suspected robbery Saturday evening in Southeast Oklahoma City, police said. Officers with the Oklahoma City Police Department were dispatched about 5:30 p.m. to a shooting near South 57th Street and Bodine Drive. When they arrived, they found Raleigh Jean Rexdine with gunshot wounds. He was taken to OU Medical Center, where he later died. Detectives believe Rexdine was shot while being robbed by Christopher O'Brien Upchurch, 18, who then fled the scene, and he was later found at a residence in Southeast Oklahoma City and taken into custody, according to police press release issued Monday by Master Sergeant Gary Knight. This is Mr. O'Brien, which this is the least O'Brien man that I have ever seen. All right, if you were going to say O'Brien and this image popped up, I'd be like, nah, I think that's a practical joke. That's not right.
So I have a story to tell you about an O'Brien. I went to high school with precisely 2 black guys. One of them was adopted by a white family. The other one was a single parent household named O'Brien from Houston. And he later went on to rob the liquor store and the hardware store in the little one-horse town here that's right across the street from the bank. And he was wearing his Letterman jacket. So only 2 black guys in the entire county, and he has his name written on the back of his jacket while he's breaking into the liquor store. And he got so drunk that he ended up just crashing out in the church parking lot across the street.
Reasonable. I don't see any problem with that. Why would that be an issue?
Because he puked in the back of the cop car the next morning when they picked him up.
Anyways, Upchurch was booked into Oklahoma County Detention Center about 4:15 a.m. on first-degree murder, use of fire while committing a felony. But no, this doesn't have the actual story, though. I want the actual story. Well, okay, maybe they don't have it here. But, okay, the video's back. Perfect. Here we go.
Deadly in southeast Oklahoma City. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carl Torp.
And I'm Amanda Taylor. Police say the victim was shot in a car and died at the hospital on Saturday. News 9's Jennifer Pierce is live at police headquarters with details about the arrest of the suspect. Jen?
Amanda, police arrested an 18-year-old suspect about 4 hours after the deadly shooting Saturday night. Police were called to the area of Southeast 57th and Bryant for a shooting Saturday night. Officers found 21-year-old Rayliad Rex Dean shot in a car. Police say he died at the hospital. A neighbor who lives near the scene says she heard a woman screaming for help shortly before first responders and police arrived. Court documents say a witness told investigators Rex Dean was meeting 18-year-old Christopher Upchurch to sell him a gun.
It's unclear what made it escalate to a shooting at the time, but in the end, it ended up.
I could take a guess. The honorable Mr. Upchurch didn't want to pay for the gun, and then he shot and killed the man who was trying to sell it to him, right? Which is why, listen, like South Dakota here, we have private transfer of firearms is fine, so I can just walk up, grab cash from somebody and walk away, right? That's just completely normal here. But in certain cities or in certain locales with certain populations, I would be very, very, very selective about who you actually interact with and who you meet up with to sell a firearm to, okay? Completely legal, completely normal, no problem whatsoever. However, logistically and cautiously, I would recommend that you be very, very careful with whom you choose to do business, right?
So I would say this: if you're going to do a person-to-person transfer, something like that, do it at a public range where there's plenty of other people around.
Do it in front of the front of the police academy.
Yes, I was gonna say that's the other one. Is you do it in front of the police station itself. The couple that I did before, there was a range that was actually ran by the police, and I would just say, hey, we'll meet at this range so I can test fire it, and then, you know, afterwards, if it ran fine, then I would purchase it.
So what I would recommend in this situation is simply
not live in Oklahoma City.
Well, no, you could still sell to, I'm sure there's a few wonderful individuals in Oklahoma City, but it's probably not a great place. But you can simply limit who you interact with, you know. Let's say, hey, what's your Facebook profile? What's your Instagram profile? Send me a picture of yourself, you know. Maybe if you just limit who you do, you know, because I'm saying, like, statistically, if you're selling something to a 60-year-old boomer, you're probably less likely to end up shot. I'm just saying, I think there's a statistical probability there that's a little better for you making it out alive.
The 60-year-old boomer is.
I mean, not double out Sean, but I'm saying statistically, like, you know, if we avoid certain populations, we can increase our chance of, you know, not getting set on fire or not getting gunned down in the street for $250 because he didn't want to pay you for your Taurus G3 or whatever it is, right?
You mean Glock 40?
I have no idea what it was, but
sell him a gun.
It's unclear what made it escalate to a shooting at the time, but in the end, it ended up being a robbery, and that was when the victim was shot and killed.
Police say Upchurch brought a gun to the meetup and then stole the gun the victim was selling. Investigators were able to identify the teenage suspect and learned he lived 2 blocks from the shooting scene. Police say they searched Upchurch's home and found the stolen gun.
Suspect is in custody, booked into the Oklahoma County Detention Center on a murder complaint.
And court documents say there were multiple witnesses to the shooting. They were interviewed at.
This is like how like depraved these people are, right? When it's quite literally like they murder you and they walk 2 blocks down the road and they just chill in their home. It's like a Tuesday. Who cares? You murdered somebody. Well, go put the Glock in your home or whatever you stole from the guy and then just chill out. You know, life has like no meaning to these people whatsoever. And obviously, like, it's just a retard, right? He got caught like immediately. murders a guy with a bunch of witnesses around, walks 2 blocks down the road, keeps the murder weapon in his house, keeps the stolen property in his house. Just a retard. Absolute retard. Also, I wonder if he had any priors, but I haven't seen anything on
I'm
that.
sure he did. You don't take a gun to a gun buy, a black market one like that. That's yeah. I'm sure he had priors.
Zanico for $10, very base, says, Richard, change it to the PFP of Jake with the menorah I made, which is that is certainly a PFP of all time. Thank you for that, Zanico. I appreciate that, man. Moonman for 10 says, Richard, keep that thing I made you. Shoddy is hot, but in all the wrong ways. Chicago means I don't even need to measure the criminal's head to know he must go back. Re-immigration. I think it's a great policy, a one-way ticket. Glyphic becomes a YouTube member. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Very base of you. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, just deport SIGs for officer safety and shit. Yeah, get rid of those SIGs. Gotta get those guys out of here, all right? Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Appreciate that, sir. Polly B for 2 says, racism saves white lives. If you just, there are true things about the world, okay? If you just recognize that there are statistical probabilities and there are more safe options and less safe options, and you use those more safe options to put your family, your loved ones in a better position where they're not around dangerous people, you are more likely to have good outcomes, all right? Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Thank you, Polly. Everyday American for 2 says Abraham Lincoln blows. His back of his head blew out, that's for sure. Damn. Thank you, Everyday American. Moonman for 2 says judges are just like us. They live somewhere. I mean, names and addresses do exist. Dogwater Tactical for 2 says firing squad. Yeah. I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm partial to hanging. I think I'm partial to hanging. I think hanging is fine. Chud for 2 says early life check on the judge. Black and Hispanic. Thank you, Judge. Chudge. Chudge, actually, that's a good name. You should change your name to Chudge. Moonman for 5 says Nigerbergs be out in force until you don the bed sheet. What, man? The day of the bed sheet. Thank you, Moonman. Appreciate that. Son of Mandalore for 2 says Lightning Gorillas. Yeah, the Lightning Gorilla Unit. Thank you, Son of Mandalore. Moonman for 5 says woman judge, Jewish judge, black judge, brown judge all have a home address. It's technically true. Subarctic Psycho for 2 says don't make me Fed post about judges again. No one's making you do it. You do it all on your own, Subarctic Psycho, because it's so easy and usually justified. Subarctic Psycho for 2.
We just saying that they have names.
It's address posting. Subarctic Psycho for 2 says judge. Revolvers don't leave behind spent shell casings. True. It's very true. It's a good point. Moonman for 5 says, I will make sure that my cousins that work in the FBI don't charge you guys for accessory to hook for hook. Sub and I being based in the chat. Oh, thank you. Yes. If you can separate your Fed posting from the rest of the chat, that'd be, yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Moonman. Appreciate that. Appreciate you looking out for us, good sir. Zanico for 2 says, logic. You got the clip. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that, sir. Over on Rumble, Crackalakata says it's all so tiresome. And then he links me a meme that he put on my my X account, but I can't show that one on. I can't show that one on the stream. I think the overlords at YouTube would not like that one, good sir, but it is apropos.
So I do have to say, I think you've been pronouncing his name wrong the whole time. I think it's Crackalactica.
Crackalactica?
Yeah.
I don't know. He apparently he's not upset by it because he keeps donating and he keeps hanging out. So I think he's, I'm sorry if I've offended you, Crackalactica.
No, he's got a good sense of humor.
Crackalactica. Yeah, whatever. Crackalactica. Fine, whatever. I'll pronounce your name right. Fine. Heathen from Texas for 10 says, you're going to get me added to a new list with how much you're making me glow. And right when I'm about to buy a new gun. Oh, well, I hope all of our names are touching in the list. That's not going to be the only thing that's touching in the lists, all right? Let me tell you. Lots of touching going on in those lists. Chudge Holden for 2 says, did somebody ring the Dinkster? Right on time. Thank you, Chudge. Appreciate that, good sir. All right. Well, final update, final story of the evening. This is, we covered this earlier, like a month ago, a couple months ago. But prosecutors released new details in the case of Aaron Spencer, the Arkansas man charged with killing a man whom he found in a car with his 14-year-old daughter. A lot of daughters getting into troubles and a lot of men, a lot of fathers having to sort it out on their own.
In the case of Aaron Spencer. Hello and thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Faith Woodard.
And I'm Brooke Buckner. The case has received national attention since his arrest last year, and that continued after he announced he would be running for sheriff in Lonoke County last month. Spencer is accused of killing a man who at the time faced more than 40 child sex crime charges involving his 14-year-old daughter. He argues he was protecting her and pleaded not guilty. He has the support of more than 360,000 in a petition backing his actions.
Now, according to his attorney, he is running in hopes of bringing to light the failures in the system, but if he's convicted, he won't be able to serve. Tonight, THV 11's Carter.
He is not alive. He is very much not alive. The father shot him 15 times. So the perpetrator is very much not alive. That picture that they were showing you, that's the father who executed justice upon the pedophile. So that's the father. That's the father's mugshot, not the pedo's mugshot. The pedo does not have a mugshot because he has 15 holes and a shallow grave.
Gets us up to speed on how the case is unfolding.
Prosecutors attempting to paint a picture that Aaron Spencer planned to kill 67-year-old Michael Fossler even before he found Fossler with his 14-year-old daughter on October 8, 2024. That theory emerged in a legal brief late last week. His defense says his actions before the shooting aren't relevant. The state says they are, and included several new details.
So essentially, the state is trying to get him charged with premeditated murder because what happened was that day he was trying to find, his daughter was gone. He was trying to find the man. He went to an acquaintance of the man, says, hey, what is the guy driving? What's his phone number? I'm going to go find the guy, right? I've called the cops. The cops aren't doing anything. He finds the vehicle, runs them off the road. He follows them for, I think, 6 or 7 miles, runs them off the road. His 14-year-old daughter is in the vehicle with the 67-year-old man, and he proceeds to ventilate the man 15 times.
They, if I remember correctly, a fight ensued first, and then...
So there was a altercation. So he pushed them off the road, got his daughter out of the car. The man and him were having a verbal, physical altercation, whatever it might have been. And then at some point in that, he shoots him 15 times, which... to me, like, the circumstances leading up are pretty irrelevant, right? It's like he is kidnapping, raping my 14-year-old daughter. I find him. The man is dead. All right. 15 times. I mean, he must not have had a spare mag on him.
That's what I was going to say. The most disturbing part about this is the fact that the guy didn't carry one in the chamber.
Well, so he actually did. It's funny. He did shoot 16 times. But he only hit him 15 times. So it's very possible it was a Glock 1915 plus 1. So he must just not have had a second mag on him at the time, okay? That's the biggest takeaway.
In their reasoning, prosecutors highlighted Spencer's conduct 3 months before the killing. Prior to Fossler's arrest in July on more than 40 charges and counts, the state says Spencer asked an acquaintance of Fossler's for the man's address. He allegedly told that person, quote, "Don't call anyone. Don't call the police." But word did get out, and as investigators looked into the rape, 2 Lonoke County sheriff's officers showed up to Spencer's home. A transcript of their conversation.
Your daughter gets raped. You threaten to go after the man who raped her. The police show up at your door to make sure that you don't do anything while the rapist is out.
With your daughter.
Not necessarily with his daughter at that point in time, right? Because there was a lead up of several months. But what I'm saying is, like, your daughter gets raped, your 14-year-old daughter gets raped by the 67-year-old man. He's out and about. You threaten to do something about it, or you even just inquire, like, where does this guy live? What does he drive? What's his phone number? And the cops show up at your door to make sure you don't do anything untoward towards that pedophile.
Yeah, the guy who had been charged 40 times.
Yeah.
Conversation recorded by body cam in July is in the state's filing. Spencer questions how much prison time Fossler might face. He asks the officers, what's going to happen? 3 to 5? He's rolling around, cruising, grooming? He then refers to another child abuser and says, quote, he's going to get back out, isn't he? Indicating his belief that the same would happen with.
So one of the cops is like, hey, my daughter was abused as well. And then the father, Aaron Spencer, responds like, what, is he going to get out too? And he's going to continue to do the same thing. You're allowing this man that, diddled one of your daughters to continue to perpetrate these crimes, which needs to be some pretty stiff justice for these people. All right. I mean, the 3 to 5 years for diddling a kid doesn't seem quite appropriate, right? It seems like maybe there should be a more final sentencing for this person.
Fossler, one of the deputies warned Spencer, saying, we don't live in a country where you can take the law into your own hands. Spencer responds with an expletive.
Bitch.
The prosecution saying all of this.
Conversation ends like, you don't get to take the law into your own hands, man. You can't stop this pedophile from kidnapping your daughter and raping her. And then, bitch.
But I can.
Oh, I assure you I can. It's like, listen, when the cops have failed to do their job, when the justice system has failed to do its job, when it has left good people with no recourse to the law, necessarily, people will take it into their own hands. When the cops have a dereliction of their own duty, when the justice system fails, people will necessarily take things into their own hands.
This proves Spencer had an intent to kill, saying, quote, his understandable rage did not give him the legal right.
So dude, I can imagine being a prosecutor for this case, and it's your job to try and railroad this father who killed the pedophile kidnapper of his daughter, right? Because the circumstances are 67-year-old man kidnaps your daughter, has him in his car, you find them together, force them off the road, rescue your daughter, because that's what's happening. You're rescuing your daughter from her kidnapper rapist, and then you kill him. You could argue, okay, well, that's manslaughter. You should have let him be arrested rather than killing him, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, come on, if there was ever a case for a justified homicide, or to give somebody like, I don't know, a fine or something like that, like,
let him be arrested again and released again.
Right. I know, but I'm talking about like you're the prosecutor and you're like, well, yeah, you probably technically broke some laws here, but what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I going to do to actually serve justice here, right? So you shouldn't have killed him, technically speaking, right? Technically, according to the law, you shouldn't have just killed him, right? Even though I think it's totally morally justified, of course, to kill the man. But you shouldn't have, like, legally or technically, right? So how about, I don't know, you plead down to involuntary manslaughter with a side of insanity or something like that due to the enraged nature. And you get off with a slap on the wrist, basically, right? And that way their justice is served. You get punished because you technically did something bad, and then the pedophile is dead, which is the happy outcome, right?
To kill Fossler. Ultimately, that'll be up to a jury in a trial for second-degree murder set for January 26th of next year.
So we will have another update in January, and like just after SHOT Show, basically. We will have another update on this, and hopefully it's a speedy trial that comes to a good... Because if this guy gets life in prison, like, what an absolute miscarriage of justice. What a waste.
Thank you, Carter.
Over a pedophile? Really? You're going to give a father defending his child life in prison over a pedophile? Really? Really?
THV 11 has reached out to Spencer's attorneys for a statement in response to the state's filing, but we have not heard back yet.
It is Arkansas.
If Spencer is able to run, he will look to unseat current Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley, who is running for another term. If Spencer is able to run, he will look to unseat.
Speaking of able to run, I don't think Sheriff John Staley can run very far. What about you, Richard? Aaron Spencer looks much more like an upstanding, fit-to-serve citizen than Mr. John Staley.
Yeah.
Current Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley, who is running for another term. That election date is set for November 3rd of next year.
Okay, so now if he gets convicted, he will be ineligible to be chief of police. However, come January, if this trial gets like big national attention or something like that, and he gets acquitted or he gets something else, right, some sort of plea deal or something else, he will still be eligible to become police chief of his neighborhood. That'd be kind of baller. Imagine having a police chief that took out a pedophile as your local small town cop. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of base.
I wonder if he could get an extension or get his trial date rescheduled. To push it after the election.
I see what you're saying. It's possible, but I think he wants to just win. I don't think he wants to wait till. I don't think he wants to wait till the end of next year when he can get it over in January.
Right.
And I mean,
wondering if
in Arkansas, depending on the jury, you might get a jury that's very sympathetic to you. So I don't know if his lawyers are optimistic about it, but if they're optimistic about it, just send it now rather than later. So
he could also end up with a jury that's sympathetic to people like Bill Clinton, because that's where Clinton came from, Arkansas.
First LGBT president of all time. Very funny. McLeod over on Rumble says the cops are holding him in place so the judge, prosecutor, and defense attorney can argue over how many gift cards and midnight basketball to give to this doctor engineer. Yeah, woohoo. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting those people out. Yay, you're so nice. Dogwater Tactical for 5 says D's Negus won't hold us back. They do try, though. They do try. Think of that. Coppertone for 5 says Arkansas has a Jew-loving governor. Of course, she is having them prosecute somebody who ends a PDF. Which one's the Arkansas governor? There's too many to keep track of, dog. They're all retards for the most part. Do you not know, Richard? I don't know.
Oh, Arkansas governor?
Yeah.
I'll have to check. I finally got the picture of the other judge that didn't have a picture.
Oh, well, usual suspect, or what are we looking at?
Yeah, I'll send it over here real quick in private chat.
All right, let me look up Arkansas Gov. Oh, come on. You know what I want. Is it a female? Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was the governor.
Way. Really? Wasn't she the
Yes.
talking lady for the White House press secretary?
Former spokesperson. Yes, her father was the governor, Mike Sanders.
Okay. So that
Mike
is
Huckabee.
her. Mike Huckabee, right? That's her father.
Yeah.
Nepotism alive and well in American politics. Fantastic.
I think something happened with her father. I might be mistaken. I'll have to check. Yeah, I forgot that she ran for governor. Yeah, that's the other lawyer or the other judge that was involved with the release of that POS.
Oh, of course, because I'm not going to log into Facebook. But no, he was responsible for allowing him extra time on Tuesdays. But the female judge, the Latinx judge, she was the one who refused to put him on incarceration, right? To actually keep him in custody. So to me, it's her fault.
Oh yeah, it's
her fault for letting him out. It's the black judge's fault for not prioritizing the previous misdemeanor crimes and whatnot. Yeah, the previous charges. Yeah. So those two are a big fault. Mezchek allowing him extra hours on Tuesday for some reason. It's like, of course, I wouldn't allow that, but it's like the lesser of the 3 crimes there, basically. And I would consider those crimes because those judges are responsible for that lady's permanent disfigurement and almost her death, right? Coppertone for 2 says boys in blue serve the Jew. Well, they serve the laws of the land, and the laws of the land do seem to prioritize one group over another at times, which is very, very obnoxious. Moonman for 5 says cops who arrest you for playing Minecraft with people who like kids the wrong way go feet first too. Well, pedophiles and pedophile defenders can get the wood chipper. I think that's very fair, right? I mean, if you just happen to be standing in the way of me taking out a pedophile, I think you've made yourself part of the game. So in Minecraft, we can certainly do all sorts of funny little experiments on you. Thank you, Moonman.
That's
Sci-Fi
ironic
Cowboy.
coming from an FBI agent, sir.
I mean, you could say that his paycheck is coming from some of those types of people, but I'm just saying.
Love you, brother.
Sci-Fi Cowboy for 2 says 7S or 4T Pro. No night vision. Will be using the LT 6060 1/3 mount. I would go with the 7S, right? Although the 7S is way taller. Look at that. While it takes T2 mounts, it is like a ½ inch taller than all of those others. So if you're going to be using the LT 660 mount, you have to use the 4T Pro. You cannot use the 7S. Otherwise, the 7S will be like a 193 or a 22. It's very tall. Very, very tall, Sci-Fi Cowboy. But yeah. I mean, I think the 4T Pro is better, but if you're not using night vision, who cares, right? You can just go with the 7S. It's this basically the same dot with way worse night vision performance. Zanico for 2 says crepe or blintz. I don't know what a blintz is. Am I retarded? What's a blintz?
Blintz is basically a Jewish pancake.
Like a souffle? Well, just because it's Semitic, I'm going to say crepes. Because you can get all sorts of crepes.
Yeah, you can get sweet or savory.
Neither one is really my favorite, but, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, sometimes a crepe can be good. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that. Appreciate the food question. All right. Well, that's all of the black pilling I had for tonight. Did you guys have a fun time? Was that good? Was that cool? Do you guys love that? Richard, what were your thoughts? Was this good for your soul? That's degenerate. That's degenerate.
It's the line from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
A smoke and a pancake, a bong and a blitz. A
crepe and a cigarette.
A pipe and a pancake.
Ooh. All right, Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Well, tomorrow I've got some fun videos coming out. I just dropped a link in the side chat if you want to post that there for people. It's the one that just dropped a couple minutes ago. Tomorrow I've got the spicy new 6.5 millimeter ammo and a couple other ones coming out. So if you guys could go over, watch, subscribe, hit the like button, comment.
Did you forget to put a thumbnail on this one?
Did I really?
It's no thumbnail on it. You'll get it though. I have total faith in you. That's why I pay Richard the big bucks to upload clips with no thumbnail. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so that's a good point, McLeod. 10 push-ups per black pill. That's actually a good idea. Oh, also on Rumble, McLeod says, remember, Arkansas is Clinton territory. A few years ago, there was a dude hanging from a tree on one of their properties with several shotgun slugs in him who, quote unquote,
that was Mark
unalived himself. Mark Middleton.
Yes, it's a very interesting story about Mark Middleton. He was involved with the White House during the Clinton years when Epstein was coming and going. He was the one signing in Jeffrey
Epstein. Doing a lot of coming and going.
The farm where Mark Middleton was found, strangely enough, was owned by a guy who was one of 2 owners in the airline that was formerly known as Southern Air Transport.
Mm-hmm.
If that sounds familiar to you, that's the airline that was caught up in Iran-Contra.
Right.
Okay, so Southern Air Transport sold to this gentleman and another gentleman. The other gentleman has since passed away. His name was Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, some tragic accident or something, right?
Yeah.
What happened to him.
Same thing with Mark Middleton. Found hanging from a tree on a farm in the middle of nowhere with a couple of shotgun wounds to the chest, hanging from an extension cord. Ruled a suicide.
There was that guy who was escaping prison and he was found with 4 shots to the back of his head and they ruled it a suicide. And,
yep. And then also,
sure about that? How did he pull the trigger 4 times?
Don't forget that Brian Malinowski, the one who was raided by ATF for selling guns and stuff, he worked at the Clinton International Airport. He was an executive at the Clinton International Airport. So some wacky things go down in Arkansas.
Nice place. Glad I didn't visit. But yeah, as Pip says, yeah, Halo 2 and Halo 3 remakes are on the way. Yay! 343 gets to, who's never made a good game, by the way, gets to remake all of the classics. Yay! And Unreal 5. Yay! That sounds so wonderful. Ah, thank you.
You know, though,
Todd Dogs. Nothing says lovin' like a nothing says lovin' like a Jew in the oven. Also, and thank you, Todd Dogs. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I liked Halo 3, so if they're gonna bring it back, I won't complain.
Well, it's coming back, but it's going to be gay remastered with all the cool stuff redone, and they're going to try and take credit for somebody else's creation. So, yay! I'm so excited. But with all of that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one because I have got to edit a wacky little video for you, gentlemen. But with all that out of the way, I'll see you in the next one. God bless.
Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümchen.